Alright, what's up, yins guys? Time for another video. And this is going to be some shit that I said in blogs repeatedly, and I have said it in my videos, but I never got around to making a video specifically about it. And I guarantee I do like to flaunt this, and really, I kind of feel bad that I never made a video about this sooner. Yeah, in 2020, during COVID, and at the same time, everybody sensationalized violence and vandalism, even in places that had nothing to do with Minneapolis. Some of us actually showed our defiance to that sensationalized bullshit by putting our chips on and putting ourselves out there like I did. Knowingly and willingly and intentionally put ourselves out there as a non-threat to people's property. And I'm telling you right now, that's why that's wise. And that's why me and my partner, one of the reasons why me and my partner got where we are now, in a nicer neighborhood. And tell you why, hey, landlords and property owners and people don't want that shit, and a lot of people in better, decent neighborhoods don't even want anybody like that living next to them. So, it's your best bet, and it's the most wise thing you do. The wisest thing you can do during that time. And even now, put yourself out as a non-threat to people's property. And then you'll win in the end, no matter what these wokey shitheads say. Where those leftists out there thinking I should be feeling guilty about thinking such thoughts. These are things I'm proud of. And anyway, after 2020, I talk about this, and I'll tell you one thing, any of my lurkers who, I encourage you, go ahead and do a thumbs down. I don't even see the thumbs down until I look at the inventory of my videos on the desktop of the YouTube. And this is what I proudly, like I said, if I was ever gone from YouTube tomorrow or I had to set up another account, I actually flaunt this, and I encourage this out in the real world, and I'm proud of it. And this worked. I encourage other people to, in fact, yeah, I did make a video to targeting certain fans of certain YouTube channels, flaunting this. Yes, I did, especially, since I regard myself as another version of Sticks Hex and Hammer 666 without all the big views and without the monetization and my different beliefs, you know. But you know, I'm not going to keep talking about all my other beliefs that I regard as more practical and better. But anyway, on with it. I'm so proud of this. And back in 2020, me and my partner had to get a new place, of course, and you're going to have trouble. No vacancy, no vacancy. Even though there was laws put in place that they couldn't evict anybody for not being able to pay their rent. But place that me and my partner lived in, because that's what she lived in when we first got together, and it was actually public housing. And if you are on the wrong political view, all kind of other bullshit goes on. They were able to get around to making another excuse to get rid of you, because that's what public housing. But this is something I'm on the side. I'm proudly on the side of landlords who actually own property. And fuck public housing. Who cares about it? But this is something that I'm actually proud of, and it actually did work. And I put my chips on this, how I'm on the side of actual landlords. Because, well, 2020, not only did the pandemic kill a lot of work, and then they kind of did try to keep a lot of people from being evicted because of not paying their rent or whatever. Yeah, and I actually was blessed with a better income and a better place because of this. But unlike everybody else who was, even though they didn't participate in the protests over George Floyd, they were rooting for the vandals and all the protesters marched in the streets, blocked traffic in neighborhoods and communities that had nothing to do with Minneapolis. And I believe it was designed to intimidate citizens. But literally, they're basically saying, if you're not in with us and raising your fist in the air, down with the police, they said down with the people with nice cars down the street that you don't like, and glory to the local badasses, Mr. King of the Streets, who you want instead of the police who do the same brutality. If you didn't have that mentality, anyway, they want to intimidate citizens, right? That's all it was about, especially when they did and stuff, sensationalize it, and the place had nothing to do with Minneapolis. A lot of people on social media literally went woke. They figured a revolution was on. They better simp up to it. Some did out of fear. And on social media, right, they were glorifying and saying this, it was right, saying that these protesters were in their right. Places that had nothing to do with destroying property. A lot of property got destroyed. Businesses got destroyed. If they didn't lose their livelihood and didn't recover from the pandemic and close down, they were destroyed. While everybody else had to stay at, nobody can go to a restaurant and they were closed down. People were allowed to riot in the streets and destroy the restaurant. You weren't allowed, as a restaurant owner, you weren't allowed to run your restaurant and have anybody come in it. Then they graced you with the opportunity later on if it wasn't destroyed. Yeah, you weren't allowed to go out and interact in a restaurant or church or anywhere, but people were allowed to march in the streets and unguarded places get vandalized, looted, or everything else, right? So my point is being what got me and my partner in a nice neighborhood. I put my chips on publicly going out on social media and condemning that stuff. I knew it wasn't going to be forever. And I wasn't even being a conspiracy theorist already either. Well, especially taking into consideration that even way before all this bullshit went on, it was said years ago, you got to be careful if you're trying to get a job or somebody rent to you, what you put on social media. I put my chips on the fact, well, I regard it as fact. If I was in a casino and able to bet on this like in sports, I would have put all my chips, everything I had on that. And anyway, I did put it all out there because you were actually supposed to be afraid of that shit. But I put my chips on the idea, the proposition that even though potential landlords don't tell you, or just like potential employers, they'll deny it. If you ask them, they might deny it. They'll say, oh, we don't know nothing about that. But yeah, they'll look. If they can find your name on social media and they find you rooting for violent protesters, or even ones that didn't vandalize, marching the streets, blocking traffic, and while everybody else thought they had the world by the balls and thought the revolution was on, so to this day, even though I am saying this in a kind of, I'm all over the place with how I'm talking about it, who the hell cares? My whole point is, I couldn't give a fraction of a shit what anybody thinks now. Any of my lurkers that are on the far left, simping up to the far left, and anybody that doesn't simp up to the far left, kiss the ass of the far left, is automatically a Nazi bootlicker or whatever, even though, in matter of fact, I actually also flaunt the idea, I actually flaunt the fact that I support every chance I get and share the non-woke black YouTubers, because that's more fun than this racism they'll accuse you of. So, and by the way, yeah, too, you were in league with Aryan nations and the Ku Klux Klan and everybody else if you didn't go online and glorify the riots where everybody was just had free range. Everybody else, basically, they believed that anybody that didn't simp up to the rioters, the sensationalized riots and marches, that you deserved your property, your business destroyed if you didn't support that shit. That's basically what the far left and these, a lot of these people too were fucking kids that still lived with their parents, and their only friends were teenagers whom they served, who they furnished cigarettes and beer and liquor to their teenage friends because that's our only friends. I sarcastically say that shit a lot. The people that simp up to the far left, you know, they want legalization of all drugs. Your landlord is an oppressor if you're forbidden to have wild drinking parties and beer cans and ashtrays all over the place and be on the porch disturbing your neighbors with loud partying it up and shit like that. But I digress. I'm giving you a basic idea. Anyway, the whole point of this ramble, even though it's a bunch of rambling, is you can bet that even I'm saying this in case anybody thinks of pulling that rioting shit again, just because the police does one thing, even though that was 4 years ago, a lot of us didn't forget. And you can bet, whether we're on YouTube or not, or anything else, we're going to really tell the next generations what that shit was really about. And those people who are trying to make it like it's something heroic, you know, like that they're romanticizing in the 60s with Buffalo Springfield. Yeah, people were even playing Buffalo Springfield in clips where cars were being vandalized and people raising their fists in the air, and that kind of visual pictorial propaganda going on too. But I digress. But anyway, no matter what any bullshit that people sensationalize out there too, I think it's wise to put your chips on, especially if you care about having a nice place. If you upgrading your neighborhood, getting an upgrade as far as if you value that, getting in a nicer neighborhood. Hell, I mean, when I was in my 20s and the 90s, I had good money in Western Pennsylvania, lucky enough to land a job out of minimum wage with overtime. Had the money to get a new place when they sold my building. Yeah, this is relevant if you got this far in this video. Even then, no vacancy, no vacancy, no vacancy. They sold the building. They gave us 30 days. And I was almost looking at putting my stuff in storage and staying either with parents or whoever the hell at that time. So if you got this far in this video, if you got money and credit and everything as it is, if, say, somebody sold the property for some reason and you got a certain time that you got to move, and the time in 30 days sometimes is enough, and it's always no vacancy or somebody else got the place before you, you know, when you go to look at a place, if there's somebody else ahead of you, you know, they're going to get it. That's true as it is when you got everything, you know, going for you as it is. So sometimes you get what you get, you know, too. So considering that everybody thinks they're so smart, thinking the revolution is on, and they're sensationalizing violence and vandalism and simping up to that shit. There's a lot of people that don't like that shit and they don't want that in your neighborhood. Matter of fact, certain landlords and certain people in nicer neighborhoods, they don't even want anybody rooting for that shit. Living next to them or living in their neighborhoods, even if they didn't take part in the vandalism. And it's also not a good thing to say, if you didn't take part in such things, pretend like you did, go on social media, brag and pretend like you did. A kind of a warped version of stolen valor. You know, if you regard it as valor, the same way if some people pretended to be in the military and they never were in the army at all in their lives, that stolen valor shit. It's almost like a warped version of that. Like, and the black YouTubers out there, they're trying to straighten people out. The better black YouTubers call it street cred. You can be trying to steal valor, pretending to be gangster, and you ain't shit. And lying about yourself, yeah, and it can get you beat up by people too, you know. And then, well, it can get you, let's see, if you have that mindset and they decide to check on you, if you're flaunting stuff on social media under your actual name, and they find out, they won't even tell you why. You know they do. People can find shit about you so damn easy anyway, but I don't say anything here that I don't say out there in the actual world. Like say, so to end this right now, this rambling right now, if somebody decided to flag everything I have on YouTube and get me banned from YouTube, you can fucking rest assured that social media isn't the only thing. It's not the most powerful thing you think it is. And any predicament that we're in, the biggest fear with the people that want to control social media and the media, their biggest fear is us talking about it out there in the world. They want to suppress that. I mean, if they think they can shut us up on social media, you can rest assured if they manage to make these laws that they want to ban what you're saying and redefine our words, they're not going to stop a lot of us. I mean, I think it's way more effective than people think, without social media. You know what I mean? And I don't think you should say anything on here that if somebody comes up to you and asks you about in their actual world. Put it that way. But yeah, I'm just rambling to this point. But I regard it as highly important. And I say to you, don't be afraid of these people if anybody thinks about pulling that shit like they did in 2020 again. Oh, and put it this way. Yeah, for the George Floyd thing. Even, it don't matter if you're black or white. I think even somebody that looks like me, if they did a home invasion and pointing a gun at the stomach of somebody's baby, I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit what the police do to them. I don't give a shit if they get the well-deserved thing, like say the homeowner, victim of the home invasion, is armed, they get shot. Or get hit with a lamp if they don't if they don't have a gun, they get beaten to death with a lamp. And that probably happened. A lot of people that did home invasions, both black or white, probably got themselves snuffed out, maybe with a lamp or anything found in the kitchen. And that's really theoretically, that's really what should have happened to George Floyd. But he ended up succeeding in what he did, and he got caught and did jail time for it. And I regarded all the people that did that violence over him. They're all pro-abortion activists. And Roe versus Wade getting overturned was a form of poetic justice. Put it that way, that's how I see it. But anyway, yeah. Even somebody that looks like me, a real scraggly version of somebody that looks like me, if they did a home invasion like this, they deserve what they get, whether by police or if the victims they picked the wrong people as victims and the relatives had mafia ties and something happened to them like you see in movies, I don't care. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, somebody that looked like me did something like a home invasion. You think they'd be marching all over the streets over me or somebody of anybody other than black? No. So that's why I also advocating the support and spreading of non-woke black YouTubers as the fuck you to these wokies out there. Yeah, they think they got the whole world by the balls, but most people that care, so you putting yourself out there as a non-threat to people's property, that's what you put your chips on,